Welcome to the Rural Realtor Podcast, where we talk about all things country with a special eye towards country and rural real estate. Today, I'm your host, Bill Gaughan, and joining me is my partner, Denisha Duncan.
Hello.
And we're going to have a very special program today because we've invited a guest from Rural First. There are lots of issues that people don't understand about lending on rural property, and we're going to get those all answered for you today. And Lisa Ryckert has joined us, so thank you, Lisa.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we are looking forward to it. Probably the biggest thing that we find, Lisa, when somebody's wanting to buy country property, they want to buy some land or build a home, they'll say, well, I'll just deal with my lender. And they're typically thinking of their lender that, they bought their home in a subdivision for, and then they come back to shocked. They don't want anything to do with it. That's a typical scenario, is it not?
It is.
So tell us a little bit about what's different about rural lending. Why are you in that especially, and why do some lenders totally stay away from it?
Well, most people don't understand that when you're buying a rural property, it's a little different than a subdivision home. Most lenders are going to sell your property off to secondary market. And secondary market likes for things to fit in a box. And most rural properties do not. For instance, if the property, maybe the house doesn't carry as much value as they would like for it to carry, most lenders like it to carry 65% of the total value. And a lot of times they don't know that until they get the appraisal back. Also, if the property has any agricultural use to it, such as tillable ground or pasture ground, or if it has some ag buildings on the property, lenders see ag, they don't want it. So it's a little bit different. The properties typically don't conform to the box they want to put them in.
Well, knowing that, we ran into one of the things that when we first understood what Farm Credit is doing with Rural First, I was just overwhelmed by how many programs that you got available for our lenders. Can you tell us a little bit about Farm Credit and Rural First,
Yes.
And then we'll get into some of the details, because I think our listeners are you're going to solve a lot of problems for them.
So Rural First is a product that Farm Credit has developed for our consumer loans. We have our agricultural side, and then we have our consumer side for people that want to buy some land and they're going to build on it, or they're going to buy it for recreational purposes. We have a second-to-none construction product. That's probably what I do most, is construction. Land to build on and construction.
Right.
One of the things that I think that's really remarkable with Rural First is we understand the needs for people that want to live in the rural area. Barndominiums are becoming very popular.
Yeah.
Big fan myself.
They're wonderful. And they make a lot of sense for the rural area. The maintenance is low. There's no low-bearing walls. You can change your floor plan if you want. We actually work with a couple different barndominium companies that have us featured on their website as their preferred lender.
Oh, nice.
We finance them just like a traditional home. Our minimum down payment for our construction is 15% down. We do not charge private mortgage insurance. And we finance them exactly with the interest rate and everything, just like we do a traditional home.
Wow.
They're so popular. It used to be it was hard to find comps for appraisals. And now we're seeing that they're just so popular.
Right. They make sense.
Yes, it does make sense.
So if somebody's thinking about buying in the country, we always tell somebody who's buying a home in a subdivision, first thing you should do is go get pre-approved so you know where you're at. Is that true if they're going to buy in the rural areas?
Yes, absolutely. And we also have a really good land loan. We call it our lot loan. So if you're buying land to build on, doesn't matter how many acres it is. It could be 5 acres. It could be 1,000 acres. We have a minimum 15% down on the loan. We do a long-term fixed. If we have a program that's called our Streamline Land program. If the loan amount is $400,000 or less, we just collect a balance sheet and you pull your credit report. It's really easy. We can close those in about 2 weeks.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
They're a great program. We use those a lot for recreational or your lot loans. I always warn people, though, when they do the Streamline Land program, when you come back to do construction, then I do need to collect, more financials at that point. But
now, you mentioned a couple of times, I wanted to make sure our listeners heard it, because it happens a lot. People move, think about the country. You do sell on recreational land. Somebody just wants to buy it for hunting and fishing. They can get it financed through you.
Yes.
Can they not?
Yes, and they can even build a cabin on it, or we'll finance that too. But yes, we do a lot of recreational ground too.
I think so many people that we talk with, they don't have any idea where to go, or they'd think nobody will do that, so it has to be a cash sale.
Most lenders too, when they look at land, they want at least 20%, if not 35% down.
Yes.
And it's going to be on a variable.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do a long-term fixed. The other thing that we have is we keep everything in-house. So once you've made 12 months of on-time payments, you're eligible to convert your rate if the rates drop once a year for life alone.
Wow.
And
go ahead. I was just going to ask how your rates compare to traditional.
We're very competitive. On our home loans, we're very, very competitive. On our land loans, we're going to be lower.
Oh, very nice. And what's a typical note, term wise?
For
just
land,
say somebody went out and bought 200 acres and just going to leave it alone. For a while, how long is the term of that?
It depends on your down payment. So if you put 15% down, we can go up to a 15-year term.
Oh, okay.
But if you put 25% down, we can do up to a 25 or a 30.
Oh, okay.
So kind of just depends on, we can do anywhere from a 10 to a 30.
And then the same with the construction?
Construction, typically we see 30 years, 15% down, 30-year term.
Okay.
So it's a little different on a house. Land, the rural financing is a little stricter, but on a home, 15% down, 30-year term, no PMI.
So if a person went out, they got a loan from you to buy 200 acres, and they decide, hey, I'm going to build a house. They get another loan from you. Do you close? How do you?
Okay, so we can do a couple things. If they're ready, they have all their construction docs. They know who their builder is.
Mm-hmm.
We can close on that land and the construction at one time.
Okay.
One time close. Typically, people find their land. Then they come back to the construction. I would say most of mine, it's like 6 months later they come back.
Gotcha. Okay.
We just tie the two loans together.
Mm-hmm.
But I have had some people that, let's say they bought the land in 2021,
mm-hmm.
and their rate on their land is 3.5%. So they don't want to lose that.
Right.
So we just do an add-on loan. So we just kind of do whatever's best for the customer.
Okay.
And, I will say, there's a lot of things that aren't fitting in the box for secondary market. And maybe there's things that don't fit for us, too. And we have a lot of really good relationships with other lenders.
Mm-hmm.
We always try to do whatever we can do to it's best for that customer.
That's great.
So we'll refer them over.
That's great.
I've always been impressed. In fact, the first time we ever chatted about this with the flexibility that you have that you just don't see with other lenders.
Yes.
And I suppose that's because they're not giving you their rules. They're giving you the rules of the secondary market that they have to adhere to, correct?
Yes, I agree. And I think the thing that you need to remember with Farm Credit is we are very focused on helping people live the rural lifestyle. And that's just what Farm Credits were made for farmers and people wanting to live in the rural area.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. Yeah, and certainly most all of our listeners and viewers would feel the same way. So what's your trade area? Where can you help people?
So I work, my counties are right around Kansas City. We're territorial, but Rural First is in all of Kansas now, and it's in 20 states. We just keep growing. All Farm Credits, though, have a consumer product, but the Rural First product is actually a product of Farm Credit Mid-America out of Louisville, Kentucky. and we partner with them. And so they now we were their first partner that they brought on. Yep. So there was our territory, and now they're in 20 states.
Oh, wow.
Yep. It's a good product. But all farm credits do have a consumer product.
A lot of our listeners, of course, are in this area going to be concerned about the Missouri side. What options do they have on the Missouri side?
Well, I would say just send them over and we'll talk and see if we can. I have lent in Missouri before, so it just kind of I have to get permission. But
okay.
So yeah.
I guess the single most common thing I hear when I chat with you is you have flexibility and you're able to make things happen if they.
Yes. And we'll just see, if Missouri side, if it fits better for them to be with the Missouri Farm Credit, then we'll work with them and we'll do whatever's best for them.
Okay. But like with anybody else, probably the first thing they ought to do is chat with you and get an idea which direction they ought to go. Is that fair?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, as I understand it, Farm Credit's not just a lender, but don't you become part of the organization?
You do. You buy stock and you become a stockholder and you vote, who's on the board. And on our ag side, we pay a dividend. We do not on the consumer side.
Okay. So if a person were to buy 100 acres of cornfield on the ag side, then decide to build a home on it, I bet I'm going to guess that you're flexible enough to make that happen.
Well, we will work together. Yes. And we're okay if they want, their intent is to build. They're probably going to come to me, but they want some ag use to it and they're going to lease it out to a farmer. We're good with that. We are fine. We actually prefer they have some agricultural use to it. So.
Interesting. Interesting. So if somebody is, we keep talking about it, if somebody is thinking about buying a rural property, what's the easiest way to get a hold of you?
Oh, just call me on my cell phone. That's the best way, just place to reach me because I'm a little mobile. So call me at 913-709-5880.
And do you have a website that somebody could go to?
You can go to ruralfirst.com, and it's rural1st.com.
Very good. All right. So we talked about a lot of things here. What are the things, what should our listeners know that maybe we haven't chatted about, Lisa?
Trying to think. Our construction product, I really can't say enough about. We just switched our construction product. So we close one time up front. You have a block rate.
Why don't you explain to our people, what does it mean, a one-time upfront?
It means most construction products are construction to perm.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a construction line and then you have a permanent mortgage in the end. With Rural First, you're going to close one time up front. We're going to monitor your construction throughout. We do inspections, make sure your builder's on task and everything throughout the whole process. We hold back the last 10% to make sure you have a complete home. We used to be when on the construction, you would pay your principal part of the loan and then interest only on what you draw. We just switched it towards interest only for the first 12 months.
I was just going to ask that. Yeah,
but
I did that.
You can pay principal if you want. If you want to take time off your loan, you can do that. That's always an option. But it is interest only just to give the people a little bit of a relief during the construction process.
Yeah, where they're not living there. But you're keeping track of that builder, and you make sure that he doesn't get all of their money until your client is happy. We have a whole construction department. We have a product we use called Built, and the borrower, the general contractor, myself, and my post-close team all have access to your loan. The general contractor submits the invoices to be paid. We do not pay them without the borrower saying yes. This, should be paid because there may be a conflict. So we make sure that they say yes, and then every 25%, we send out an inspector to make sure everything's on task.
Right. What if the customer doesn't have a general contractor? What if they decide they're going to do it? So?
Yes, we do self-contracting. There's, some guidelines, and we have them fill out an application and everything. But yes, we can do a self-contractor.
Good to know.
Is there anything you say no to?
Oh, yes.
I just say that because it's so refreshing to talk to a lender that has flexibility and can find a way to solve problems and make things happen. I know I repeated a couple of times in this podcast, but I just find that my clients that we've sent to you have been so happy, and that's part of it. You don't feel like you're a cog in a machine, that you can find a way to handle their individual situation.
Well, I think, too, one thing, Bill, is that I'm sure you've seen this, too, since 2020. We've seen a flight to the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And a lot of people work hybrid, or they work from home, or they're homeschooling, and they want to get out in the country. And so this made our product, very popular. And it's just people want a little bit of that rural lifestyle and maybe just a little more laid-back lifestyle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Well, is there anything else we should be chatting about today, or anything else we should touch base on, Lisa?
I would just say, give me a call, if you're interested in some rural properties, and we'll talk over your situation and see if you fit with us. And if not, I'll get you to a lender that will fit you.
Well, give us your phone number one more time, if you don't mind.
913-709-5880.
Thank you.
Well, that's our podcast for today. We hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot. I have found that when I talk about Rural First and working with Lisa, so many times our clients are kind of overcome because they did not realize that there was such a flexible, easy-to-use option for purchasing rural property. So please, if you're thinking about purchasing rural property, give Lisa a call. She'll put you on the right track. We'll help you find the right property, but it's not as daunting as it may seem. There are folks out here, Lisa in particular, that can make this easy for you. Well, I mentioned at the start of the podcast that I'm the luckiest man in the world. And the reason for that is because I get to help other people's dreams come true. So whether you're thinking about buying or selling country property, give us a call, because it's all we do, and we'd love to help you.
And if you have a topic you'd like us to cover on our podcast, give us a call or email. My email is Danicia, DANICIA @ruralkc.com, and Bill's is bill@ruralkc.com.
Now, we have just instituted a new program that I think will be very unique in the real estate industry. You might want to take notes on this. If you call us, we will talk to you. And if we can't answer the phone, we'll call you back. And you will not get a message on the phone that says, I'll get back to you quicker if you text me. No, we'll get back to you however you want. So give us a call. If you want to call Danicia, it's 913-837-0411. If you'd like to talk to me, it's 913-837-0760. But if you're into texting, we're glad to do that as well. But yes, we talk to live human beings, and glad to do it.
And make sure you visit our website, ruralkc.com. It is the best website in the galaxy.
This is Rural KC Real Estate, affiliated with Keller Williams Realty Partners, wishing you a blessed day. Until next time.
Bye.